Her name was Agrippina the Younger. She was the sister of an emperor, the wife of an emperor, and the mother of an emperor. Her influence stretched across 3 reigns, and at her height, her hand guided the politics of the most powerful empire the world had ever known. But power in Rome was dangerous, especially for a woman. Those who grasped it too tightly often paid the ultimate price. Agrippina's life is a story of ambition, betrayal, and survival in a world where daggers lurked behind every smile, and in the end, it was her own son who would order her death. So tonight, let's step back into Rome not as historians, but as travelers in time. Let us walk the palaces, hear the whispers, and see how one woman almost ruled the Roman world. The Rome Agrippina was born into was not the calm, marble-perfect empire we often imagine. It was a city of blood and ambition, a place where family ties were both bonds of loyalty and weapons of destruction. She was born in the year 15 CE, during the reign of the Emperor Tiberius. Her family, the Julio-Claudians, was no ordinary household. They were the bloodline of Augustus, Rome's first emperor, the dynasty that ruled the known world. From birth, Agrippina was destined to live at the very heart of power. Her mother, Agrippina the Elder, was a fierce and respected woman, known for her courage and unyielding spirit. Her father, Germanicus, was Rome's golden boy, general adored by soldiers and citizens alike. When Agrippina was still a child, her father died under suspicious circumstances. Whispers claimed he was poisoned on orders of the Emperor Tiberius himself. This death cast a long shadow over her childhood, teaching her early that Rome's love could quickly turn to suspicion, and that power often demanded blood. Agrippina grew up in a palace where every meal could be a test of loyalty, every smile could hide betrayal. She learned to read people, to anticipate their moves, to guard her words carefully. These lessons would stay with her, shaping the woman she became. In her youth, Agrippina was married to Gnaeus Domitius Ahenobarbus, a man of noble blood but little charm. Together they had a son, Lucius Domitius Ahenobarbus, better known by the name history remembers him by Nero, but before Nero would ever wear the purple robes of an emperor, Agrippina had to fight for survival in a Rome that devoured its own children. Agrippina's early years were marked by fear. Her mother, Agrippina the Elder, had openly challenged Emperor Tiberius, accusing him of corruption and cruelty. For her defiance, she was exiled and eventually starved to death. 2 of Agrippina's brothers also fell victim to imperial suspicion, executed or imprisoned until they wasted away. Agrippina herself was sent into exile on a bleak island, her wealth stripped away, her future uncertain. Many would have broken under such pressure, but not Agrippina. She endured, waiting for the tide of fortune to turn, and it did. When the new emperor, her uncle Caligula, came to power, Agrippina was restored to Rome. Caligula, brilliant, unpredictable, and often cruel, kept his sisters close. Too close, some whispered. Agrippina, alongside her sisters, wielded influence during his reign, though always under his shadow. But Caligula's madness grew, and soon, whispers turned to daggers. Agrippina was once again caught in the storm, accused of plotting against her brother. She was exiled a second time, yet, remarkably, she survived even this. Caligula was eventually assassinated, and the throne passed to her uncle, Claudius. Here, Agrippina saw her chance. Claudius was scholarly, intelligent, but easily swayed. He was not the natural warrior leader like his predecessors. He needed guidance, and Agrippina knew how to provide it. Through careful maneuvering, she positioned herself as indispensable to him, first as a trusted niece, and then, in time, as his wife. When Agrippina married Claudius, she stepped into the role of empress with precision and ambition. Unlike other women before her, she did not fade into the background. She sat beside the emperor in public, something almost unheard of. Her image appeared on coins alongside his own, unmistakable signal that she was not merely a wife, but a partner in rule. She used her new position to advance her son Nero, ensuring he was adopted by Claudius and placed ahead of Claudius's own son Britannicus in the line of succession. Every move she made was deliberate. Every ally she courted, every enemy she silenced, was part of a larger plan. Her palace became a center of intrigue. Senators bowed to her influence, ambassadors sought her favor, and Rome watched as a woman commanded the stage with a confidence that unsettled the old guard. Agrippina understood Rome's politics better than most men. She used generosity when it served her, intimidation when it did not. To the people she appeared as the dutiful mother of the future emperor. To her rivals she was a storm, unpredictable, powerful, and dangerous to oppose. But ambition has a cost. Claudius began to grow wary of her power, and whispers suggested he considered replacing Nero with his own son Britannicus. Not long after, Claudius died poisoned, some claimed, by a dish of mushrooms served at his table. Suspicion fell on Agrippina, whether guilty or not. She moved quickly, securing Nero's place on the throne before Britannicus could rise. At last, her son was emperor, and for a time, Agrippina was the most powerful woman in the Roman world. At the beginning of Nero's reign, Agrippina's influence was undeniable. She attended meetings of the Senate, issued orders, and even received ambassadors in her own name. For Rome, it was as though 2 emperors ruled one young man and his commanding mother. But Nero was not content to share power. At first, he relied on Agrippina's guidance, but as he grew older, he chafed under her control. He surrounded himself with new advisors who whispered in his ear, urging him to break free. Their relationship soured. Where once she had guided him, now she scolded him. She opposed his love affairs, criticized his decisions, and sought to keep him under her influence. Nero, proud and impulsive, began to see her not as an ally but as a threat. The palace grew tense. Rumors spread of shouting matches between mother and son, of Agrippina threatening to champion Britannicus instead. In a chilling twist of fate, Britannicus suddenly died poisoned during a banquet. Once again, suspicion pointed toward Agrippina, though others whispered Nero himself was to blame. Now the bond between mother and son was broken beyond repair. The woman who had raised Nero to be emperor found herself pushed aside, her power slipping through her fingers. Nero's resentment turned into fear. Agrippina still had allies in the Senate, still commanded respect in Rome. As long as she lived, she was a danger to him, so he plotted her death. The first attempt was almost theatrical. Nero arranged for a ship to be designed to collapse at sea, sending Agrippina to a watery grave. But Agrippina, ever the survivor, swam to shore and lived. Frustrated, Nero sent assassins to her villa. They struck her down, ending the life of one of Rome's most remarkable women. According to legend, when the soldiers came, Agrippina bared her stomach and cried, "Strike here," at the womb that bore Nero. It was the final, tragic chapter in a life spent navigating the treacherous waters of Roman politics. Agrippina the Younger was not the first woman to influence Rome, nor would she be the last. But few ever wielded such open power, and fewer still paid such a heavy price. She was ambitious, cunning, and ruthless when she needed to be. She survived exile, betrayal, and the shifting tides of emperors. She placed her son upon the throne of Rome, and it was her son who ultimately destroyed her. Her story is not one of quiet domesticity, but of relentless ambition in a world that tried to deny her voice. She almost ruled Rome not from the throne, but from the shadows, where she moved emperors like pieces on a chessboard. And though her life ended in violence, her legacy endured, etched into the memory of Rome as the woman who nearly bent an empire to her will.